Yo, what's up?
What's up?
How's it going?
Fuck, I'm still not recovered from Friday night, man.
Man, we're here with the one, the only, the bees knees, the cat's pajamas, the greatest play-by-play guy, Jamie Boom Boom. Man, that event was so hot, it brought summer upon us.
Yeah, nice weather here in Montreal after a crazy weekend, but man, good night of fights all around. Really, really good fights. Really competitive fights, and I was thinking about this like yesterday. There was like only two decisions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only two decisions. It was crazy as fuck, to be honest.
Mhm.
Uh, like the level of anticipation wasn't as high as the first event because, like, the first event had like Dufault and Morgan and Strania and all the
Mm.
people that we've been known for years. But man, I'm pretty happy with the turnout in the end. There were plenty people there. I think Danielle told me about 1,200 people,
Wow.
which is a good crowd for that
Yeah.
type of event. And man, like there were some small hiccups here and there, not gonna lie, but it was a crazy event. And we're here to recap it. But before, I wanted to know, how did you like it? Like from your point of view, from your experience, you were on play by play. How did you enjoy that event?
I think as a fan, from a fan standpoint, I enjoyed it. I think it was very well produced. I think the fights ran smoothly and quickly. I like the way um, there was there wasn't too much time wasted between fights. I think it was nice how like when one fight was over, we did a little recap, and then another fight came right away. So like as a fan, and even like watching it over on Fight TV, you can go watch it on Fight TV, FITE.tv. And even watching it over, it just rolled smoothly, like really, really smoothly. And obviously, finishes make a fighting event much, much more intriguing and much more interesting, especially when it's like back to back to back. And the other thing too is, from a and again from a fighter standpoint and from an analyzer standpoint, everybody that got finished like had their chance to win as well. So nothing was one sided, you know. Like even like if you look at James and Mathieu Chaumont, which was the one fight that you could say was really one sided. Well, James clipped him in the beginning, so you understand that Mathieu was sticking to a game plan. So all that to say, it was a really smooth event. It was a good night of fights. I like the speed everything went. I like the pacing. I thought it was. I didn't see as many hookups maybe as you did because I didn't stay as long for the production. But I mean, if they keep doing shows like this, they're gonna build traction extremely fast because everybody knows that Quebec is a great province for fighting. Montreal is a sick city for fighting. We've developed enough people to prove in that. Like I think we've developed enough world class talent. So I think if they keep this ball rolling and they keep the momentum going, they're gonna be a league to be reckoned with. No joke.
And the other thing with Montreal, like to be honest, I fucking hate Montreal. I despise Montreal, but it's not a boring city.
Mm,
So it's cool to fight in Montreal because there's shit to do after.
yeah.
Like even places like Toronto, it's cool, but people go to bed earlier. It's not people are fucking crazy in Montreal, so it's something to travel there, go fight there, then have some fun there, eat there. There's some food. Like the day after, I went to Benebi Otoru's hotel room and I brought him some poutine because he never had it.
Nice.
So like that stuff like that. He had a bunch of friends that came down from Hamilton, and they had like another. They weren't at the fighter hotel. They were, I think, Peel and Sherbrooke, basically. So they
Mm,
were downtown, and he had some fun the night after, and he ate some food, and so it's like a complete experience for fighters too,
yeah,
to come here
for
fight,
sure.
and for a good promotion that, like you said. It's a cool show to look at too. It's beautiful. It's the same guys that produced TKO, so, and it was really important for Samurai, for Daniel to take these same guys because the expectations pretty high, like in Quebec. To be
Yeah,
honest, with TKO, with what we've seen, like visually from these shows, you can come on and like put on a how could I say this? Because you see some, even if some of the Canadian shows that are on Fight Pass,
yeah,
they got some good fights, but you look at the setup, like
yeah,
it's dark, it's weird. There's no
yeah.
like camera play. It's like way lesser produced, let's say it like that. So props to
Yeah.
Samurai for that production and for everything. But like the hiccups were only like basically we commented the first fight, we analyzed it for us too. Basically, we were the only two person that
Yeah, true,
were
true.
able to
Yeah,
to listen to what we said during that fight. So I
I
kind
forgot
of
about that.
feel that not that it made our job like tougher because I think it went really smooth, but I feel like it would have went smoother if like the show begun and then we begun with the show because
Mhm.
we didn't quite know if we were on. Like we had a good idea. I was receiving some messages. We didn't hear ourselves in the headset, so we kind of had an idea that we weren't on, but we were still doing it in case.
Yeah.
And then the guy came and then we were on and then we started, and I feel like it took us just a little time to get into our groove, but once we got going, man,
Yeah.
like everybody told me, um the announcing was really good. They really liked our
Nice.
combination. And the thing that I like, that I'm not gonna lie, it was a little more difficult, but it was fun the way that we did it because like you're a fighter too, so you had some insight, so you were able to analyze at some points. And like
Mhm.
I was maybe more like presenting, then you were calling the fights and I was analyzing, so it was like more hybrid announcing, which is more challenging, but it's so much fun because both are able to put their insights into it. And I feel like people liked it, to be honest. I only had some good comments, and I really liked the experience, like from
Yeah,
start
same
to
for me. Same for me. I thought like maybe it's my fault. I couldn't hold back at some points because you were being analytical and then I would be analytical. I think it was just my natural behavior. And again, I've never done play by play. I've done like hosting where you're kind of on the mic and you're just saying everything that's going on, which is different because I'm alone. But yeah, it's true. Looking back, I mean, for sure, it was a nice hybrid. I think like it worked out. I think that's more important than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. No, it worked out. And like I feel like if you were only there to call, it would suck because you're a fighter. People want to know what you gotta
Mhm.
say and like what you're seeing in these fights. Because I think that's what's cool with our team.
Yeah,
We both see things in the
yeah,
fight, so we're really able to analyze it well. And I think the commentary was really, really good in the end. I'm really proud of our job.
yeah. Me too, man. Good job. Yeah.
Yup. So man, let's jump into the action. We're gonna do like a quick recap of the fights of the evening. First one is the one like that. Maybe people want to hear us talk about it since they didn't on the
Mhm.
broadcast. Pat Connors, Johan Salvador. Johan Salvador coming on like super short notice, like 1 week's notice to fight Pat Connors because his opponent got moved to the co-main to fight Duprat. So good performance from both, I'd say. Salvador came on really strong, was landing the takedowns. Connors was popping right back up, but still, we felt like Johan was probably in advance, was probably leading that fight. And then once he told me he got up and he saw the guy just take one deep breath the final time that he got up, and he said, I knew at that time that I had to try my own takedown, and that it was just
Mhm.
a matter of time. And that's exactly what he did. Landed a big takedown, took the back, got the choke, got back into the win column. Very good performance.
Yeah, it looked. Pat Connors had like a body lock takedown, I think, with a trip. Long guy, long guy. Sometimes those guys in the clinch are very difficult to deal with. He got his hands on him, and Johan Salvador, as good as he looked on top, I guess maybe you said he was tired or short notice. He didn't look great on the bottom. Let's be honest, but looked really good on top and looked really good on the cage, taking guys down. He was really good as the aggressor, which is kind of akin to what you talked about in your breakdown, that he was an aggressive guy, and then on defensively, we saw Pat Connors tap him pretty quickly.
Okay, so second fight of the evening. One fight we were really anticipating, and one fight that did deliver because Mehdi Zaidvan, Mauricio Cruz, the Mexican, came in pretty game, was the more active fighter on the feet, but every time Mehdi threw something, it landed. Like someone told me that basically the leg kick Mehdi landed, and if you watch the fight, you know which one I'm talking
Mhm.
about. And it basically sounded like a gunshot in the arena, and the guy was already like super bruised up from one kick.
Yeah.
And then Mehdi got his wrestling on, and then wrestled him, controlled him on the ground, got surprised by an armbar, maybe, I don't know, because Mehdi just lifted him up with one end like bicep crunch and dumped him on his head and won the fight. won the Carabin d'Or. My buddy Max Carabin, he had his belt and he gave it to Mehdi. I gave him the $200 belt. Like, that's yours. You won it. And I think we're gonna try to make some new belts for every event. Now.
Yeah.
That's our gimmick. We're gonna give some belts. If the promotion's not gonna give some, we're gonna fucking give
Dude,
some.
that is awesome. That's awesome. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mehdi, amazing debut. Mauricio showed enough things that I want to see him back. I want to see him in the striking oriented matchup. Maybe with a guy like Yanis Azal. I'm not here to match make, but two guys that are gonna stand and bang on the feet because he had a fun style.
Yeah, he had fun style. I mean, I don't want to take too much credit, but I told Mehdi before the fight, we spoke a little bit, and he asked me what I think and everything. And I said, look, all you have to do is take your time. And on the broadcast, you could see I was almost in shock that he was either listening to me having jitters or that was the way he was planned to fight anyway. But I told him, I said, in this fight, you just need to take your time. All that needs to happen is you need to not get tired. Because in 90% of the exchanges with this guy, you're going to be better. Now, obviously, I thought a lot of them would be grappling exchanges. But I think even striking, when you look at the two guys, Mehdi is just so devastatingly strong that the only thing with Mehdi is just not getting tired. When you have that much muscle and you're not used to fighting, waiting a long time for his debut, hasn't competed in a long time, a guy who's always training, just don't overdo it because you'll win where you engage. And you saw that, he engaged him. I also think what's nice too is at the very end when Mehdi slammed him, if you notice, if you go back and watch the tape on Fight TV, he doesn't throw any extra punches. He kind of like saw he was out and he kind of said, he's like, okay, I won. And I think that's super cool out of a guy that has no fights, because nobody could take away the fact that Mehdi has a killer instinct. But to do that, to notice the guy's out, like before we did and before the referee, and to not throw any extra punches, I think that was cool too. So I like that fight. And I think Mehdi could have a good career. But yeah, we're going to want to see him against someone who maybe next time, an advanced striker, and then maybe fight 3-4, put him in there with the guys like, well, I don't know if he could fight Dupree. I don't know how close that is to home, but I mean, that's a dream matchup. That would be super cool,
Of course. And like Mehdi definitely looks like he's going to kill you, but like, what a sweet guy.
Yeah.
What a sweet fucking guy. I love him. Like, we spent a little time with him because we gave him the belt and stuff and took some picture. And man, the guy is just, he's cool. And fucking Mustafa promised me a German suplex in this fight. So I'm pretty happy about that too. So moving on, Mathieu Chaumont, James Cardinal. I learned something like, I'd say that's pretty crazy, not pretty, but like Mathieu Chaumont basically started training MMA 2 years ago. So I think we can kind of see it in his style because he's very one-dimensional in his approach.
Was he a grappler before?
I don't think so. I think he began by grappling and said, oh, of course, I'm going to fight, and just went into the cage, had a couple amateur fights, went well, so he turned pro, and now he's 3-0 as a pro and just started the sports 2 years ago. And it's like, on one part, yes, he's very one-dimensional. Like, he got dropped almost immediately by James Cardinal Lauzon in that fight, but the one dimension he's good at, he's pretty fucking good at it. And he was able to basically drown James in that fight. And James, I got to give him some credit because he fought his ass off. It did not go well. He did not, maybe not have yet the proper technique to be able to do those technical stand-ups and all that stuff. And like Mathieu was really doing the thing I really like I explained on the broadcast, is what he was getting the Dagestani handcuff on one side and then was going with the ground and pound. And when James was adjusting to it, he was letting go of it and just switching his position a little bit and taking one hook. So that if James got up, he was going to try to take the back standing. So at all time, James had something to think about because it was like, if I do that stuff, that's exactly what he wants me to do. So it was really tough for James. He fought his ass off, but you could see by the end of round 2, his will was really getting taken out of him. And that's when Mathieu Chaumont, he saw it too, took the submission and ended the fight. In a very impressive performance. I think this guy, 2 years in his career, 3-0 as a pro, this guy's pretty special. And for James, he's another guy I want to see again. I spoke to Daniel. I kind of know in which direction they're heading with him as far as a next matchup, and it's going to be a good one, and I'm really excited for that. So wonder what you thought about that.
I think the small cage definitely helped Mathieu Chomo. The fact the cage is a little bit smaller than the full size cage, that helped him. And when you're that, like when you want to just close the distance, you just want to stick to a guy like Glue. You obviously want to have a smaller area to do that. You know, I always liked fighting the TKO cage because it was smaller, and as a grappler, you're just getting closer. It's just there's just less range to go to get in to find it. Now Mathieu Chomo, he said a couple of years in, but you know he's got that Ben Askren style. But unlike Ben Askren, he's extremely athletic and extremely fast and extremely powerful. You know, Ben Askren, who you know, he was also one dimensional, but where Ben Askren had experience, Mathieu Chomo has a ton of athleticism that Ben Askren doesn't have. So I kind of think that Mathieu Chomo, his ceiling is a little bit higher. And I know it's, you know, it's weird to say when Ben Askren is you know, a two league champion, world champion, but I just think a guy like that could go a long way if he learns how to put it all together. But again, I mean, if he's only if all his fights are going that way thus far, you know, he'll be surprised when he's tested. You know, he'll be surprised when there's a guy who could, like you said, who can hip escape, who can get up, who can invert, who can stay, you know, sprawl and brawl. He'll, you know, he probably have some trouble being that one dimensional. But again, the guy is a super athlete. Like when we stood beside him in the cage after the fight, he's a you know he's a monster. Like he's huge, he's jacked, and he's super athletic. You could tell. I mean, he's just one of those guys that probably like box jump over a house. You know, he's I mean, and those guys can go a long way. I mean, we've seen guys like that. It's just it's going to be up to him now at what point, how he wants to build his career, and if he's willing to put the proper time into MMA.
Yeah, for sure. And then Mayo Campanella, Yanis Hazard, amazing first round for Yanis. Landed the spinning back fist, the jumping knees, the 1-2s were landing clean each and every time. And like it ended being his undoing, unfortunately, because he landed so many 1-2s that Mayo got used to them and used that to close the distance, take the body locks, and from there work on his takedown. And when he got on top, stood in the half guard, and Yanis tried the best he could. But I think it may be another case of maybe not having the exact right technique from that exact position to be able, because Yanis spent a lot of time in bottom half guard in that fight. And unfortunately, his opponent did some good stuff for him to stay there. But like I feel like maybe he should have been able to do a little better there, but some things to work on for him. And another amazing performance for Mayo, who him and Mathieu, they were the highly touted French prospects coming in. Like I said, Mayo double amateur champ at 2 weight classes, so like probably bigger. He was very athletic too. He was really explosive too. We saw him, a guy that's not that good at striking, but that's willing to strike and throw the flying knees back and throw the spinning shit back, even when he's not really able to do it right technically. But when he got on top, the momentum just completely switched and never switched back. And good win for Mayo. And to be honest, good learning experience for Yanis. Like you can't come, like he's gonna be better after that fight for sure. He's gonna come back so much stronger.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's obviously hindsight 2020, and we hope that it will. We're a big fan of his, friends of his. But yeah, his will was broken, and when you're fighting a grappler, if you don't adjust the situations early, it gets worse and worse. And we saw it with Mathieu and James Lauzon. So yeah, it was a question of once it started to become deep grappling exchanges, Yanis he wasn't answering the right questions early enough, and then he got stuck deeper and deeper and deeper. And then the third round, his kind of will was a bit broken. What I mean by that is, you know, someone's taking you down, you've got to be sprawling. And then if they get you down, you've got to be hip heisting. You got to be really quick. And if you don't hip heist, you've got to be switching hips. You've got to be threatening with submissions to try to push on the hips to get up. You don't have to be a jiu-jitsu ace, but you have to find solutions in every position. And if you're getting, you know, deeper and deeper and deeper in the water without acknowledging those positions, you're in big trouble. I know that as a grappler myself. That's what I try to do to everybody every fight, was how much can I just wear on them, make my positions better and theirs worse in every sequence. And if I can keep doing that over and over and over and over again, it works. And in my fights, it worked all the time, except maybe against Malcolm Gordon. I was surprised that he caught me in a submission in an armbar when I was winning every other situation. But I know what happened, technically there. But that's like 1 in a million. Usually if you're winning those situations over and over again, and you don't, if you don't assess it the first time, man, the grappler gets more confident. But like with a grappler, the guy shoots in, you sprawl once, you sprawl twice, sprawl a third time. Now the tide is turned and he's super frustrated. So he's going to be taking sloppy shots. His striking is going to be subpar. But the problem with Yanis is he's such a good first round. I think he got surprised in the second round, and he was not able to turn tide.
Yep, and the third round, it was kind of an unfortunate way to go down because he received a calf kick and like kind of got down on one knee, and like Mayo just jumped on it and like didn't even properly get like taken down. But man, what you gotta do, you gotta be able to get up in these situations, and he wasn't, and that's why he lost, and he knows it pretty well. And like the thing that
he's so good, Yanis so good.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing, but I won't say that I like, but that I appreciate is that I've had the chance to speak with Yanis, to speak with James, to speak with Kat, who we are gonna speak about in a few moments, and like they're all in peace with what happened. Like they understand, they're gonna work harder, they're gonna come back, and like they all understood that they're gonna learn from that. And like I told Yanis after the fight, man, if you're too depressed, hit me up and I'm gonna send you a list of like 50 elite fucking fighters who lost their first pro fights. Like the list is, there's fucking champions, like some of the best fighters we've seen who lost their first pro fight. So Yanis, it's just the beginning for him, and I'm not even worried like 1 second about that guy, to be quite honest. So he's gonna come back better, and I'm happy to see that. Like he's still got to go out with his friend, enjoy his night, and like it's not the end of the world for him. Of course, he's not happy. He's really not happy, but he's not like super depressed and wondering if he wants to do it anymore. Like it's not that type of scenario at all. So I'm really happy to hear that. And let's move on to like one of the, like if the main event didn't happen, that was the highlight of the night. That was like the crazy grappler who comes in to just strike and do pretty well, but not that well, because like, yes, Joe started the fight stronger, but Kat, when she got it in her momentum, when she got in her rhythm, you could see that she was starting to land the combinations, the counter combinations, and she started by landing one shot, then two shots, then she was going to 3 and 4 shots now in counter, and she was doing well, but she got caught by a huge overhand. And I kind of made the beginner's mistake of saying, oh, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you back, instead of just, oh, I was hit by a shot, I need some time to circle around, to reset, and then I'm gonna try to get her back. She tried to get her back right now at the moment. Wild exchange against the cage, and Joe just takes her head and knees her in the face and knocks her out. And like, I won't even lie, I even told Joe, like, amazing performance. I did not enjoy the knockout, but like, it's a fight, and Kat knows what she was getting into. It's just that, man, I like these people, man, like especially the H2O, since I'm very close friend with Michael Dufort. So all the Duprat, Adam Sacco, Kat Voronova, all those guys from that gym, I love these fucking guys, and it kind of hurt me to see her go out that way, especially after the tough weight cut she had. And like, I don't think she had a very good, I won't say fight weeks, but the day before the fight and the 5 days weren't that good for Kat. And it's tough to see her go out like that, but man, I gotta give props to Jolene, Joe Maisonneuve. She's a absolute fucking mad girl, and I love her style. She's my style of fighter, like the grappler, the jiu-jitsu specialist who does not give a fuck and just comes in to stand and bang and knocks people out. Fuck, man, give me more.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, yeah, credit to you. You called it. You said that she's gonna go there and use her hands. She's not gonna, probably won't grapple with her. You said it. You said in the breakdown. You told me in our Instagram live, you told me exactly what would happen. You said it's going to be a stand-up fight, even though it's a grappler versus striker. It was a stand-up fight, and it was really competitive until Joe hit her with the right hand and was able to put pressure, get her against the cage, throw a couple more combinations, and finish with a knee right up the middle. You can't say more than anything else. I mean, that was really, really, really nice striking from a girl who was supposed to be a grappler.
Yep, and man, they had Samurai. They signed the Brazilian girl who's pretty good. She's called Ruth Ravena. She's 3-0. She's a striker, super fucking exciting striker. And she was, they wanted her to face Kat, but with the Brazilians and pandemic on and off, and she couldn't have her visa in time, basically. But she still went and got her visa despite the fact that she wasn't able to get it in time because they wanted to see her on the September card. So I feel like basically Joe won that fight now. She won the chance to fight that super exciting Brazilian striker who's very good, very athletic, but like she's an exciting brawler. She's wide open too.
Yeah.
Like so that should be like an exciting matchup coming up. And I don't know if they're gonna go in that direction, but I feel like it just makes sense. They were, that fight was kind of the fight to decide who was gonna fight that Brazilian chick. So give that fight to Joe and fucking let them bang, man. Then we're gonna go to what was my personal favorite fight of the night, because it wasn't a fight where anybody got hurt. It wasn't one fight where anybody even got controlled that much, but it was so technical. It was so high level. It was a chess match between two amazing prospects that are so fucking young, and like they're just beginning their careers, and they're already giving us, like, I fully expected Shintani Poulain to be the highest level fight on the card, and somehow it was like two beginners that gave us the most wonderful technical display of the night. And
flyweights, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, flyweight's always been one of my favorite this division. I was gonna say decision. What the fuck? But no, amazing. And like, I still don't know who won after I rewatched it plenty times, because, like, in my opinion, it really comes down to how do you interpret MMA, and it's deeper than just like scoring a fight. Because in round one, Benabi won. Clearly, he won. He landed the better strikes. Tommy wasn't able to close the distance. Tommy was really tentative in that round. Did not go for it. Did not really throw much strikes. But in the end, it turned down pretty well for him, because he really adjusted in rounds 2 and 3 and was able to really do better. As far as he clearly won round 3. So there are two clear rounds in that fight. Then there's the second round. The second round is really half and half. And it's just, how do you interpret MMA? Do you score the striking? Which wasn't like, oh, he got hurt, oh, he got hit bad. It was some good jabs and some good kicks. Basically, that was that. And some good striking defense. Or do you score the 3 takedowns, but that basically result in 0 top control?
Yeah.
They result in some cage control, yes, but no top control, no ground position, no nothing like that. So do you score the 3 takedowns, or you score the, let's say, 10, 15 beautiful jabs and kicks that landed? And man, I don't know how to answer you on that one. It's not like if anybody got hurt, or if Tommy got 30 seconds of top control, now it's a clear round, in my opinion. But both didn't get it, so I don't know how to score that round. So man, like, Tommy won, I'm happy for him. Even Benabi the day after, he's like, man, I'm willing to. He said, I think I may have won the fight, but he deserved to win the decision for sure. I'm not coming here and say, oh, I deserve to win that fight. I got robbed. It was so close. So I think everybody's okay with the decision. But like I said, Tommy won. I'm happy. If Benabi had won, I wasn't gonna come here and say, oh, it's a robbery or nothing. Like, anybody could have won that fight, and it was just like a beautiful technical display from two very young prospects. So it was just great.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the only thing I would say is I definitely think Tom won. I think round 2 and 3, it's outright, and I think that, like, if you would score fighting, like if you would score it, what do they call that? Like not by round, but like combined score, like a cumulative scoring.
Yeah, pride rules basically.
Yeah, I think if you're going cumulative scoring, I think Tommy wins.
Yeah,
I think at that point he wins, because he's making the right adjustments, and he's putting points on the scoreboard when Benabi wasn't putting points on the scoreboard. So I think if you look at it in that sense, yeah, I think Tommy won. I like the way Tommy made adjustments, and he was tested like that in his last amateur fight. He was a little bit outstruck, and then he went to the grappling, and he completely dominated the grappling. So again, good for Tommy to be mature enough to say, this is not working out, go to something else. The tide changed, and I give him enough to win.
Yes, for sure. And like I told him, and I told his dad, who was a friend of mine, man, it's the best scenario.
Mm.
Like basically, Tommy Morrison has 3 times the pro experience of Frédéric Duprat right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. Wow.
Yeah, so man, it's the because like I told his dad, like you see so many guys, and I'm using, let's say, Kamaru Usman. That's probably the best example of that. Finishing nobody, boring the fucking shit out of us for how many years. But he was a decision machine. He was winning the positions. He was never losing any moments of any fight.
Mm.
And he kept on training, kept on getting better. And look at him now. He's knocking people out left and right. He's
Yeah,
finishing people. And so you see it often. You see those decision heavy fighters just get better in the long run and start finishing people, start being in
oh, for
some
sure.
highlight real fights and some like, and you often see the opposite, like the super finisher who gets at the elite level and now he's facing like the guys who you just can't finish, and he's
Yeah,
not finishing them and he's not winning any of that fights. And my example, and it's at a really high level, but let's say like Brian Ortega.
yeah,
Brian Ortega is always that close to finishing the Volkanovskis, and but when he's not winning these fights, he's getting like whooped, like, and it's
yeah,
almost sad the way he's getting whooped. So,
yeah,
like, you'd rather be Kamaru than Ortega, I feel. So
yeah.
Tommy, best possible scenario for him. Then, man, like you can't even say much about that fight because I feel like it shouldn't even have happened. To be quite honest, Maxime Poulain has got to be given hella credit because, like I said, the guy, he's getting older. He was 5-1. He felt like this was his opportunity to push it to the next level. And when you're 35, the next level, you can't take 2 years to get there. It's now
Mm.
or it's pretty much never. So I think he felt kind of pressed to take the fight because of that, not because of the promotion, not because of any of that, but because he felt like every fight might be his last opportunity. He was kind of pressed to take the fight that he shouldn't have taken because Shintani missed weight. He missed the catch weight and he missed the weight that they were supposed to weight the day after at 12 on fight day. He tried to push that weight back, then missed the weight that he had pushed it back to by plenty pounds. So
Mhm.
basically, Maxime Poulain shouldn't have taken that fight. There was almost like 20 pounds difference in the cage between these two guys, and you can see it. And Max Poulain, he's the grappler, like he's the wrestler. He's the guy who's gonna want to take this fight down to the ground. And what fucking happened is that he tried. The guy sprawled him, went on the side, and fucking side naked choked him or whatever you
Yeah,
call it. And it's sad because it's a beautiful submission in the end. It's a super performance for Shintani, but man, I just can't give him any credit. And I hope, like, if he listens to this, he won't be mad at me because, man, like that was bad all around. And I know, like, Pat Leno and all told me that, like, the guy that was the most sorry about all that scenario was Craig Shintani, and that, like, basically on fight day, his coaches called Pat Leno to say, man, like, we gotta give him some fruit or some water because, like, he's not gonna make it to the weigh-in. Like,
wow.
basically. So, like, it was bad. I don't know what happened. It's weird because he's the most experienced guy on the card. He's supposed to be the guy that has done it the most often. But, like, bro, you're just not a featherweight. Basically, you're not a featherweight. The lower you could go was 153, and you almost like died doing it. So please don't do it again. Fight at 155.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him back at 155. If he wants to come back and fight for us at 155, give him Mick Fall. Let's fucking do this main event. I don't care, but no more 145 for you,
yeah,
Craig, please, for your safety and for the sake of your opponent, who like shouldn't have taken that fight. And it turned out super bad for him because basically the black belt got submitted in less than a minute, and that's not what you want to see on your record
yeah.
when you're a jiu-jitsu black belt. So kind of a bummer all around. The only one on the card, but like I can't even come here in front about it and say, oh no, that it was bad all around, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. You've said everything. You've said everything I thought exactly. I think, Maxime Poulain made a wrong decision of dropping to his knees and trying to do a peek out. Um, with with his head going between the guy's legs. That's something you don't want to do against a bigger guy. That's like the last technique you want to do. So that's the only critical thing I would say. And again, but it's probably one of his better techniques, and you're not used to doing it against someone who's that much bigger. And yeah, so just technically, that's the only thing I would have said. Like, Max actually looked like he was doing pretty good because he shot and he actually had him against the cage. And then when he tried that peek out, that's where it all went. It all went disastrous. Like with a bigger guy, you definitely stay on your feet as long as you can until they're down. That's when you go down. You know. But yeah, you said you nailed it on the head. 155.
Then let's go to the star making performance. The and like when we look at in hindsight, I've been in contact with the French guys, with Quentin and the old team that came to fight. They were all a team. Even Mayo, he does not train directly with him, but he's from what I understand, he's from a smaller town
Mhm.
that is close to Toulouse, which is the major city close to where. So he comes over to train at the gym in the major city with these guys, and then he goes back and trains at his own gym. But he does a lot of training with them. So they were all a team, and that Quentin Arola guy is good on the ground, and I found out he was good on the ground after the fight when I spoke to him, because he told me that, and he just basically made me realize what was happening when I rolled with Fred Duprat. Is that the guy grabs the guillotine from angles that you're like, I've
It's not.
never
You're not
been.
threatening. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not threatening. Every time I've been took in that guillotine from that angle, the guy did not come close to even choking me, and I was able to pass from there to take the better position from there. And man, that's exactly what happened, because Fred's guillotine was disrespectful, man.
Hmm.
He got taken down. First, he came at the guy like he had like zero respect for him, just wanted to get him out of there like as soon as he could. He wanted to knock him out. And the guy, Fred grabbed the leg, took the guy down. The guy was able to get up. He immediately shot on Fred. Fred got taken down, just sat, connected his hands together around the head with the arm in, and just adjusted his hips a little bit and started squeezing. And within 5 to 6 seconds, Quentin was going from a thumbs up to furiously tapping to sleeping on top of Fred.
Did he fall asleep?
Yeah, he fell. If you look at it at the end, like Fred's trying to push him because the guy goes limp on him. He's like, oh shit, well, he's trying to push
Yeah.
him because he wants to go celebrate. So
Yeah. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Fred does it particularly good on one side. I think once he has that side, you see his body type. He's really long, and he's got a kind of like a really V-shaped frame, like really, really V-shaped, and with long arms. And that's why he just has the body for it. I have a funny story. When I was training for Malcolm Gordon, we knew that I would shoot a lot, and we knew that he would be planning a guillotine. So Eamon one day at practice had me go around. Well, one day that Fred was there, he had me go around. And he said, "You're gonna let everybody in the gym put you in a front headlock or in a guillotine position. You practice your guillotine escape." And I was really good at this point because I had been doing it with Faraz almost every night. So I was really good at defending guillotines. Fred was there, and I'd never seen him before. So I grabbed him. I'm like, "Oh, Fred, could we this round? Could we just you just put me in guillotines, and then I'm gonna try to escape. You put me in a full on guillotine, and I'm about to go with him. We're about to start. Eamon just darts over from the other end of the room, just grabs me. He's like, "No, no, not him." And I was like, I was smaller. You're already down to weight almost. I'm making championship weight. It's the end of camp, and Eamon's like, "No, no, not him." And I'm so competitive. My wrestling just kicks in, and all those training camps I had in Russia and all over the world, and that competitiveness when you just want to fight everybody. I'm like, no, no, like I'm doing it. Eamon's like, no, no, not him. Trust me, not like that's not someone you give a guillotine to and try to escape. And like the thing in that camp was I had to be in every worst jiu-jitsu position possible, and that was the whole training camp for Malcolm Gordon, who I fought. And so that day we were doing guillotine defense, and we had been doing it for about a couple weeks. And yeah, Eamon would not let me go anywhere near Fred in a guillotine situation. And that's when I was like, oh shit, okay. And then, next couple weeks later when I was back training and everything, I think I double legged him, and I got caught the same way. And then I was like, okay, now I get it.
yeah, it's almost the same thing with me, because like I said earlier, Michael Dufort, when I started doing jiu-jitsu, he was in Saint-Jean. He was already training. I believe at that time he was like 0-2. I was like, what the fuck? You're pretty good, man. But I always thought that there was no better guillotine than Michael Dufort. And when he went to train at H2O, he told me, man, this Fred Duprat guy, man, his guillotine is better than mine. And I was like, fuck you, Dufort. You're just being humble,
Yeah.
man. And you're just, and he was like, no, 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 man, I'm telling you, there's something. And I've rolled a couple of times with Fred. And like first round I do with him, he's going to get me 4 or 5 times basically. And
Yeah.
man, like I'm a purple belt.
Yeah.
I'm 2 years and a half in on the purple belt, so
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu. I'm not gonna come here and say I'm the world champ and that I could fucking knee bar Ethan Creliston or nothing, but like I think I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu, and does not give a fuck about me, man. He does
Yeah.
not. He just does not. And he really grabs it from those weird positions that you're like, fuck off. He's not gonna get me from
Yeah.
there. And then you're just furiously tapping, and or if you're not tapping, your neck's like cracking from every angle, like
Yeah.
oh shit, he's gonna fucking kill me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what he did,
Yeah.
and then nailed the entrance, nailed the fight, nailed the post-fight interview. People were going crazy. Clearly, Samurai has seen something in that guy, and every time he goes out there, he's proven more and more that they were right in what they saw, basically.
Yeah.
So he's the next guy up. He's the guy. He's the one. Then let's speak about absolute craziness. 11 seconds, 3 knockdown, and yes, Coach Jamie McGowan kind of pointed out that if you really look at it closely, it's kind of a knockdown for Sarah. Sarah's knocks Généreux down, then slips and like grabs himself against the cage, then immediately. So it's kind of only 2 knockdowns for Robert Sears, but man, fuck it. It's way more fun to say double knockdown, then
Yeah.
another knockdown, then a knockout, then another knockout, then
Yeah.
basically knocked him out 3 fucking times on the ground. And like it was amazing. The most action-packed 11 seconds of my life. And like if your main event's gonna go short, that's the way you want it to go short.
Yeah, I mean, fun stuff. When stuff like that happens and guys are swinging, it's hard to break it down technically. It almost feels like guys are just winging it. So again, I'm not. I mean, I'd have to watch it again and say if there was anything. I know you kept talking about Siri's hooks and in close, how good he is, how strong he is. I didn't. Again, I wasn't able to see it. It almost looked like they were hitting each other at range, so they didn't quite look in the pocket when they were getting those when it was a double knockdown or not. It didn't look like it was that tight in the pocket, but it looked like kind of overhand looping shots, and I mean they were landing. So yeah, I mean feel bad for Généreux. I think he really wanted this. I think he was trained with Johan, and he really came back, and it was like his comeback fight after a couple of years, and I think he really he had a lot of fans there. Kind of feel bad for that, but again, for us, we couldn't have wanted a more exciting way to close out the show. That was awesome.
Yup, and like I feel for Généreux too. I had the chance to see him after the fight at the event. He was okay, so I'm just happy to see it. And like, there's a part of me who wants to feel bad for him, and there's another part of me who was like, man, you chose that. Like there was a way that this fight would not last 11 seconds. These two guys, they just chose violence from second 1 to second 11, and like they could have chose otherwise. They chose it to be that way.
Yeah.
And it's amazing for us. Like, man, we posted the video like on my YouTube, on Samurai's all Samurai media, social medias, and we sent the video by email to Robert, and some of the guys in his crew basically posted it on Facebook, and it's pretty popular in Hungary. And like all in all, in all our social media combines, the knockout has about 80,000 views right now.
Wow.
Around the world. So man,
cool.
It's kind of viral, and it's kind of crazy that like it's our voice on it basically. So it's amazing.
I've got like 130K on TikTok. I just posted today, so I'm expecting it to do quite something as well.
Nah, for sure. It's absolutely amazing. And man, just what a way to conclude an event that, man, just home run once again. Samurai people weren't sure about that second event. They were like, we don't quite know the other guys. And like, it's because there's a stigma here. We're not gonna lie. There's this boxing stigma that you go to a boxing event and it's local fighter against foreign fighter, and the poor foreign guys, they come in and they get slaughtered like back to back to back to back. And so when you see an event like this with lots of local against international fights, you're like, oh, okay, so we're gonna go there and we're gonna see all the Quebecers whoop all these guys that they handpicked to get defeated. And man, it wasn't the case. Even like you said, even the guys that lost showed stuff in their losses. So every fight was competitive. We've seen like once again some crazy finish, a slam KO, a highlight knee KO, crazy guillotine, like disrespectful guillotine with absolutely no setup or nothing. Just I'm gonna choke you out. Look at this, and a crazy ass main event that lasted a whole 11 seconds, but the craziest 11 seconds we've seen. So man, all in all, amazing event. And I gotta end it by saying that man, just thank you, Jamie, because I don't know if you know, but if you didn't, I'm gonna tell you right now. The very first fighter interview that I did in my life was you.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
And I don't know if the first one I posted, but it's the first one. I think it was TKO like 41 or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that when I was going live for the first time. I was covering an event live as a journalist. And I was, I'm going to interview fighters. And I hit up plenty fighters and we all set up dates. And it just happened that the first one that
Oh,
I got
shit.
set up and that I got done was you. So we
That's
kind of
cool.
we kind of went full circle now, man.
That's
I had the
cool,
chance
man. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
grow my rep and my street cred by training and doing that journalism stuff.
Yeah.
And you had an amazing career as a fighter, title fights and stuff, and now came back around to being a comedian and doing plenty stuff. But still, we were in there together, and we
Yeah, man. It
called
was
this
fun.
event together, and we went full circle. And I'm just so happy about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, man. I followed you too. You know, I kind of used your blueprint, and I said, how can I do it? And it led me to all kinds of things, man. Like my emceeing and hosting now is blowing up. I did it. I emceed a marathon yesterday. I had to MC a whole marathon. That's why my voice is a little fucked up. They didn't give me a microphone. Next week I'm doing it again for them, but it was in Pointe de Cascade. Next week we're going to Gatineau on Sunday morning. So I'm doing the Bush Marathon. Shout out to them in Gatineau, and I will have a microphone this time because I had to host the whole thing and all that without a microphone, so it kind of hurt. But yeah, man, just the journey it's taken now. Following guys like you, guys that just go out and get it. You know, no one's gonna give it to you. So hats off. I told you after the show, man, you belong here, and you went out and get it. Like nobody can say anything, bro. You went out, you got it. Like you want to be a journalist, okay? You have a fucking iPhone, okay? You have access to internet, okay? Next thing you know, you have earphones, okay? Now you have a microphone, okay? Like you don't need shit, bro. You need passion and it's just hard work. Like yeah. So that's kind of like that's my even for comedy, man. Like within the 8 months that I've been serious at it. I mean, you know, the promoters know that, you know, like they called me to do one show. One promoter, I was hitting him up. I want to do your show. I want to do your show. It's like, look, I have a spot for you. It's gonna be might be late on a Wednesday night. I showed up there. I end up going on at 1 a.m. I performed for one drunk person, but the guy knew I was there, bro. Like, so you know, those things they add up. They add up. They add up. And these are things that people can't take away from you, whether you have a background in journalism or you're a fighter or you're a champion or you're one of the local guys. You know, you can't take away from someone that's there and doing hard work. And I don't know, it's we both doing our things, man. Yeah.
No, for sure, man. And like you said, I put so much of my own money and my own time. And Ben, for a while, I was working to buy shit to do that, basically. And now,
Yeah.
man, I'm not living from that, of course. But fuck, man, I'm doing that, and I've got Manscaped sponsoring me, and I've
Yeah.
got Drill who sponsored me, Drill Skincare who sponsored me,
I
and
did the
uh,
Manscaped commercial. I got it. So I just filmed it. Like we filmed it a couple weeks
let's
ago. You'll
go.
see me on
Oh,
TV.
for
Yeah,
sure. And now Manscaped, like what
they're
a
great.
great
Yeah,
company, man. They
yeah,
send us ad reads that are ludicrous, man. Like you
yeah,
basically like encouraged to swear and say foul things. Though.
yeah, yeah.
So it's just like it's amazing. And man, now I'm getting paid to fucking be on Fight TV with my boy Jamie Boom Boom and call some fights. And like, boy,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
fun.
dream come true, man. I don't have no bosses. I do my shit. I got some people like the images that Carabin and Greg got for the vlog. It's bro, they're
Yeah,
insane. We had a new image stabilizer, basically fucking gimbal for the camera.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Gimbal.
like,
Yeah,
man, the images are so good, man. The content's gonna be amazing
I
in
can't
the
wait to see it,
coming
man.
days. So, man, just amazing night, 2 for 2, and let's fucking go Samurai 3 in September, man. It's gonna be lit.
All right, Fab. See you soon, eh?
Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot, Jamie.
Peace.
Bye.